Okay. Our third question, I think, is from Kala from India, who I think has a question about the think tank X factor. So, Kala here.
Thank you. Thanks, Peter. So what do the donors make certain think tanks more distinguished than others? Let me mention here that I've found some of our donors to be obsessed, if I may use the term, with success. And when we talk about policy impact, I think we all recognize that policy making is a very complex process. And Dr. Samuel Wangwe, I think on day one, was talking about the importance of agenda setting, and there is potentially a lot of role that think tanks can play in agenda setting, bringing some issue to the attention of policymakers, and then it permeates slowly, and couple of years down the line, 3-4 years down the line, maybe it becomes policy, and the policymakers don't even acknowledge that yes, this was largely because of the idea that originated from this think tank or this person or that scholar, right? So I think it's a much more complex process, and I would like to get the panel's views on what distinguishes a think tank, whether you're conditioned largely by the success. I mean, we have had to tell some of our donors upfront that we are not policy makers. We do not make policy, and there's only this much we do here, right? So it's a little bit of our contribution. And taking this opportunity, I also want to bring to the table one of the outcomes of a South Asian regional meeting we had in Mysore of all the South Asian think tanks, and we all discussed that even a failure can be a success, stepping stone for success. So if a think tank has successfully brought some issue on the public agenda and has played some role in agenda setting, then that should be considered as a measure of success. Because I think Jean rightly mentioned, I really appreciated her for that all this takes a long time to come to fruition. I mean, we are looking at 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, where we believe that we have the opportunity to begin sowing the seeds for reform. Okay. And we want to see grow it into a tree and start bearing fruit. I think that doesn't happen for a long, long time. I really appreciate the panel's views on this.
Thank you very much. Peter Taylor's giving me the nervous cough, so now I'll have to give you the nervous cough. So, okay, a big question. So who would, I guess a donor would be the ideal place to start with that answer.
Yeah, I mean, we look how they are nice they are to us, you know, how they pampered, they offer us tea, coffee, and then if the coffee is good, immediately we give the grant. Especially with me, good coffee, it really helps. Some of my colleagues like tea as well. The first thing is, I would say, I know this is like sort of a list there, but, you know, clarity of vision. One of the tests that we have is, you know, are you a think tank or a consultancy? And actually, you know, it sounds almost idiotic. It's like, you know, if there was a book for think tanks, this will be, you know, like think tanks for dummies, this probably would have been a chapter. But really, it is something which is crucial. And that is because you can have the same skill set, but you can apply it for a different purpose. And I'm not saying that consultant is bad. Actually, they have a very important role in a lot of processes, in policy processes. But it's essentially there is a level which is of difference with the think tank. So that's the first, I think, the first thing. And sometimes actually it's surprising to many people when you tell them. It's like, oh, but look, to an outsider, you're a consultant. You're not a think tank because you get commission work. You don't follow up on these things. You don't have your own agenda, and so. You know, the first question that you ask me, what shall I do? How on earth from Budapest I should know what you should do in Tbilisi and so on. So it's I know, of course, but not as much as you should. So that's the first thing. Second, we really emphasize the quality of research, and I think I cannot emphasize this more because at least, you know, consider me being idealistic, but even if it doesn't go into that policy cycle, a lot of issues that you deal with are there to stay. They're tectonic, so a 2-3-year-old study actually will not expire. It will need a bit of an update on most of issues that we deal. And then there are two other maybe issues that we haven't mentioned. One is innovation. I am struck at the way how think tanks follow policymakers with their non-innovation. And when I say their non-innovation, One thing that we've been doing is data visualization. I see the field where all the NGOs, not think tanks, are putting everything in a very nice, interesting format on the interest without having a single data. And then I see the think tanks who sit on their hard drives. You don't know what to do with the data. They're buying extra, getting grant from us on extra capacity, and they have nothing to do. I'm not saying that they should visualize per se, but I'm saying one as an example to reach to other audience. So a bit of innovation, especially when you get a core grant to add value. And last and not least, the ability to price your own products. I cannot emphasize this more. When I say price, how much do you cost? Not because you're able to charge the policymaker today, but because you're able to raise the awareness. You know, to tell to the Bank of Uganda, I'm giving you this for free, but the real price of this is that. And start moving into that direction. Maybe, you charge them a bit, but you make them, this is a high quality product. Because mind you, if Pricewaterhouse or McKinsey comes, their fees are not symbolic, and these guys are ready to pay. So, you have to consider that, and it's a market of brains too.
Okay, brilliant.